And it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and had completely destroyed it as he had done to Jericho and her king. So had he done to Ai and her king, and that the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them, that they feared greatly. Because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all her men were mighty. And Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, and to Piram, king of Jarmuth, and Japhia, king of Lachish, and to Debir, king of Eglon, saying, Come up to me and help me, and we will smite Gibeon, for it has made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. The 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, king of Eglon, gathered together and went up in all their camps and encamped at Gibeon and made war against it. And the men of Gibeon sent to Joshua to camp to Gilgal, saying, Do not slack your hands from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains gather together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. The Lord said to Joshua, Do not fear them, for I have delivered them into your hand. Not a man of them shall stand before you. Joshua came to them suddenly. He had gone up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord confused them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon. And they chased them by the way that goes up to Beth-horon, and smote them to Azekah and to Makkedah. And it was as they fled from before Israel and were in the desert of Beth-horon that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them to Azekah, and they died. There were more who died with the hailstones than whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still upon Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ajalon. The sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Jashar, which is the Torah? So the sun stood still in the midst of the heaven, and it did not hasten to go down exactly a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord hearkened to the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp to Gilgal. These 5 kings fled and hid themselves in a cave at Makkedah. Joshua was told, saying, The 5 kings have been found, hidden in a cave at Makkedah. Joshua said, Roll great stones to the mouth of the cave, and point men by it to guard them. Don't you stay, pursue your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Do not let them enter their cities, for the Lord your God has delivered them into your hand. And it was, when Joshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter until they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered the fortified cities. And all the people returned to the camp to Joshua to Makkedah in peace. None wetted his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Joshua said, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those 5 kings to me from the cave. And they did so, and they brought forth those 5 kings to him from the cave, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. And it was, when they brought out those kings to Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, said to the chiefs of the men of war that went into him, Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near, put their feet upon their necks. Joshua said to them, Fear not, nor be dismayed, be strong and of good courage, for thus shall the Lord do to all your enemies against whom you fight. Afterwards Joshua smote them and slew them and hanged them 5 poles, and they were hanging upon the poles until the evening. And it was at the time of the setting of the sun that Joshua commanded, and they took them down off the poles and cast them into the cave wherein they had been hidden, and laid great stones on the mouth of the cave until this very day. And on that day Joshua took Makkedah, smote it with the edge of the sword, and its king he utterly destroyed them, and all the souls that were therein. He let none remain, and he did to the king of Makkedah as he had done to the king of Jericho. Joshua passed on from Makkedah, and all Israel with him, to Libnah, and he fought against Libnah, and the Lord delivered it also and its king to the hand of Israel, and he smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein. He let none remain in it. And he did to its king as he had done to the kings of Jericho. Joshua passed on from Libnah, and all Israel with him, to Lachish, and encamped against it, and fought against it. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hand of Israel. And he took it on the second day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were in it, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Then Hiram, king of Jazer, came up to help Lachish, and Joshua smote him and his people, till he left him none remaining. From Lachish Joshua passed on to Ajalon, and all Israel with him, and they encamped against it and fought against it. And they took it on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were in it he completely destroyed that day, according to all he had done to Lachish. Joshua went up from Ajalon, and all Israel with him, to Hebron. They fought against it. They took it and smote it with the edge of the sword, and its king, and all its cities, and all the souls that were in it, and he left none remaining, according to all that he had done to Ajalon, but destroyed it completely, and all the souls that were in it. Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Debir, and he fought against it. And he took it and its king, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and completely destroyed all the souls that were in it. He left none remaining, as he had done to Hebron, so he did to Debir and to his king, as he had done also to Libnah and to her king. Joshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the valley, and of the falls, and all the kings. He left none remaining, but destroyed every soul, as the Lord God of Israel had commanded. Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza, and all the land of Goshen to Gibeon. And all these kings and their lands did Joshua take at one time, because the Lord God of Israel fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp to Gilgal.